In the early 1900s, Long Island's North Shore glittered with the opulent estates of America's wealthiest families. One such showpiece was Burrwood, the 40-room mansion of oil tycoon Walter Jennings. Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. Born in 1858 as the eldest son of Oliver Burr Jennings, a co-founder of Standard Oil, Walter grew up in privilege but also with powerful connections. He attended elite schools, Phillips Andover and then Yale University, where he became a member of the Skull and Bones Secret Society. Armed with a law degree from Columbia and impeccable social ties, Jennings followed his father's footsteps, embarking on a career in the booming oil and gas industry. By the turn of the century, Walter had firmly established himself as an influential industrialist. He served as a director and later secretary of Standard Oil of New Jersey, one of the principal companies of Rockefeller's oil empire, and from 1908 to 1919 was president of the National Fuel Gas Company. His business portfolio didn't stop there. Jennings sat on the board of the Bank of Manhattan and was a trustee of the New York Trust Company, forerunner of today's Chase Bank. In short, he was a key player in the Gilded Age world of oil, finance, and industry. This considerable fortune and status set the stage for Jennings to join his peers and a favorite pastime of the era's elite, building a magnificent country estate to escape the city's hustle. Between 1895 and 1898, Jennings quietly amassed around 374 acres of land in the Cold Springs Harbor area of Long Island to create his dream estate. He then commissioned the renowned architectural firm Carrère Hastings to design an exquisite Georgian-inspired mansion on the property. This was the same firm behind landmarks like the New York Public Library and the Frick Mansion in Manhattan, so Burrwood's pedigree was first class. For the grounds, Jennings brought in the Olmsted Brothers, sons of Central Park designer Frederick Law Olmsted, to lay out elegant formal gardens around the new mansion. No expense was spared in crafting a country residence that would rival the finest estates of the day. But why name the estate Burrwood? Walter Jennings claimed to be a direct descendant of Aaron Burr, the former U.S. Vice President, and so he cheekily named his manor Burrwood in honor of that lineage. The estate more than lived up to its lofty name. Burrwood wasn't just a mansion, it was practically a self-sufficient village of luxury and productivity rolled into one. The main house itself was a 40-room Georgian mansion replete with grand halls and sumptuous details. We'll peek inside soon enough, but before we do, let's linger in the gardens a bit longer. The scenery was planned to set the stage for the estate from the moment cars passed by the gate and began pulling up the driveway. After traveling through an alley of trees, the grounds suddenly open up to formal gardens, with cars traveling around a sunken parterre garden complete with fountains and dozens of different types of flowers. Because we are exploring the grounds first, we can drop our car off at the carriage house where the staff will make sure to take good care of it. From here we can walk out to the farm group where we would see a fully functioning farm with horses and livestock. As we continue around the property, we come across large brick terraces and hear the trickling of fountains among the undisturbed chirping of birds. Then we re-emerge, seeing for the first time the rear of the house flanked by large loggias and joined by a glistening white balustrade running along the lower terrace. As we continue making a circle around the house, we see stately dormers piercing the roofline beyond rows of hedges. Finally, we find ourselves again staring at the main entrance from the sunken garden. Let's head in for a closer look. As we pass by the massive stone urns to approach the front door, we realize for the first time how large the mansion is, with perfectly scaled proportions meant to dwarf the human scale and a signature mark of Carrère Hastings. Entering the mansion, we pass through the vestibule and head up a few steps to arrive in the reception hall. Our view now is looking back at the front door where the grand staircase turns above the vestibule behind richly ornamented columns. From here we make our way into the dining room, where rich wood paneling clads the walls. And though it may be hard to see, the panels are carved with delicate relief work tracing the room around to the fireplace, which is separated from the windows by fluted pilasters. Next we'll make our way into the library, with built-in bookshelves skirting the room at picture rail height, leaving an airy band of wallpaper to act as a frieze and join the room with a cohesive linear element. Life at Burrwood rolled on blissfully for many years, but history had different plans for the world around Walter Jennings. The Great Depression struck in 1929, bringing an abrupt end to the carefree prosperity of the Roaring Twenties. The economic turmoil that followed would prove challenging for America's wealthy families, including the Jennings clan. Maintenance of huge estates like Burrwood suddenly became far more difficult as income shrank and new taxes loomed. Nonetheless, Walter remained a man of considerable means and stature up to the end of his days. In 1933, he passed away at age 74, not at Burrwood, but at his winter home on Jekyll Island in Georgia. In 1951, not long after Jennings' descendants put Burrwood on the market, it was sold for a mere $90,000 to the Industrial Home for the Blind, a charitable organization. By the early 1980s, the maintenance expenses and staffing needs of Burrwood were overwhelming the institution. The resident population was also dwindling as modern social services enabled people with disabilities to live more independently off campus. Ultimately, the organization closed the residence. Burrwood, now aging and expensive to upkeep, was put up for sale again in 1987. There was nothing to stop developers from clearing away the old relic. Lacking any buyers or protections, Burrwood's mansion was demolished in 1995, erasing the stately house from the landscape. Though the mansion's walls are gone, its tale endures as a piece of Long Island history, a reminder of the Gilded Age dream that once flourished on its shores and of how those golden dreams, like Burrwood itself, ultimately faded into memory. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. What did you think about this grand country estate? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.